welcome back to Beauty Bee. Today I'm going to be ranking my nail polishes. This is the second of these videos that I have done. I previously did a ranking my lip products, which will be linked up in the cards. Yeah, I've got 19 nail polishes, so this should not be a super long video, but I will be swatching everything on these note cards. Oh, it looks like I actually have an extra on these note cards. And yeah, there's not too much else to talk about. Let's get into it. So my least favorite is this Sally Hansen Extreme Wear nail polish in the shade Iris Illusion. Now I am almost positive that this was purchased for me because it's called Iris Illusion and my name is Iris. I do really like the color in the bottle. I think it's very pretty. However, this is a pain to actually wear. Let me see if I can't give you a nice little swatch. It goes on so sheer like that, and to build up any kind of color, you need minimum 3 coats. However, they can't be thick coats because then they just won't dry. Yeah, so I think I've worn this maybe once, maybe twice. It's just a pain. The next color is this Sinful Colors bold color sneaker-like texture. Do I have shade? And the shade Double Time. Now this color is very, very pretty. Its downfall though is that the sneaker-like texture. I don't know how well it's going to show up on the note card, but it does. It has sort of a plastic fake leather texture to it. So spot on, but even with a top coat, you can't get it to look nice and flat and glossy. It always has that kind of odd texture to it. I also find that this doesn't wear particularly well. Even with a top coat, I tended to get chips within 2 or 3 days. I wore this actually quite a bit over the summer because it was a pretty recent purchase. I just bought it, I think maybe in May, but I wish I hadn't. That's one I regret. Okay, those are actually the only 2 nail polishes I own that I truly dislike. Now we are going to get into things that I, think are fine, but just don't get a ton of use out of, starting with this Ulta Beauty mini nail polish. I'm sorry, I have quite a few of these little mini polishes and I don't have names for any of them. This is a near white with just a little bit of sort of a creamsicle tint to it. I'll swatch. And I mean, this is fine. I just don't know that I've ever worn this more than maybe once. I don't really go for super nude nails. And on me, this is quite nude. I just prefer, if I'm going to wear nail polish, if I'm going to go through the trouble, I like to have something a little bit more impactful. And same story with this. This one's a little bit more interesting because it's a yellow. But again, kind of nude, or I guess not nude in this case, kind of light. I don't think the yellow is super flattering on me, but the formula on all of these is just fine. Now these are all polishes from this point on that I actually do really like. I really enjoy all of these. This is near the bottom though. This is a Sally Hansen Insta-Dry in the shade Go Garnet. You're going to see that I have a lot of these Sally Hansen Insta-Dry polishes. And this is probably my least favorite just because it's not super... It's a dark shade and I want it to be opaque in one coat and it's not. It's also got quite a bit of shine to it, which just isn't the format I usually go for. I mean, you will see going through these, I much prefer creme polishes and really brighter polishes over something darker and a little bit more shiny. So this is definitely not like this doesn't have any shimmer in it, but it is quite glossy. That one's also kind of a pain to build up on the nails. Next we have what is probably my oldest polish. This is the Sally Hansen Extreme Wear in the shade Fuchsia Power. I had so many of these when I was in high school, and I think I must have had this practically that long. Maybe I bought it my first year of college, but it's definitely getting older. Ooh, we'll see if it actually wants to open. I haven't used this in a hot minute. It is a very pretty color. It's just not one that I use super often, and I do not find these extreme wears to be a particularly nice formula. I do like this polish, it's just not one that I find myself wearing particularly often. I've realized that I much prefer the Insta-Dry formula to this extreme wear formula, and this is just getting older. I think I said that I probably bought this either in high school or in college, and I graduated from high school in 2012. So yeah, I suspect that this one will not be in my collection for much longer. It's just reached its best by date. I actually just wore this one, I think last week or 2 weeks ago. This is another Sally Hansen Insta-Dry, and this is in the shade Silver Stallion. And this is, again, it's a very pretty color. I like it a lot. I just, A, don't think it's super flattering. And B, it's not a creme polish. I really like creme polish. What can I say? However, this does wear really nicely, and it actually builds up fairly easily. I think this was stripeless within 2 coats, which I appreciate. No, this is my most recent acquisition. This is the Sinful Colors Bold Color in the shade Rise and Shine. It is a teal. It has a tiny bit of shimmer to it, but I can't really even see it I can see it in the bottle, but I don't really see that come off on my nails. I love this color so much. This would be probably in my top 5 for sure if it did not stain my nails so badly. I have worn this twice. It stained my nails both times. The first time I wore no base coat and it just stained everything. The second time I did use a base coat and that helped somewhat, but there was still quite a bit of staining when I removed with nail polish remover. When I chipped off, because I like to pick up my nail polish sometimes, that did not leave a stain behind. Next we have another one of these mini Ulta Beauty polishes. This is more of a pink. I actually wore this a couple times in the last 2 or 3 weeks. It is a very pretty color. It's just, again, a nude, though I think this is a prettier nude on me than the earlier 2 were, which is why it is indeed higher up. Yeah, nothing too much to say about these. The formula on all of these Ulta Beauty polishes is fine. It's just, I don't have any colors that I particularly love from it. And next we have this Sally Hansen Insta-Dry. This is in the shade Vava Violet. This is a cream purple. It's more on the red-based side of purple. Um, I really do like this polish, and I've worn it quite a bit over the years. The reason it's not higher up is because I just prefer something that's a little bit more cool toned, like what I'm wearing right now, over this more red toned purple. But it's purple, so I love it. Next up, we have my Sally Hansen Extreme Wear in the shade Mellow Yellow. This is like a mac and cheese yellow. I think it's really fun. It's not something that I would want to wear all the time the way I would some of these other colors, but it is, ooh, and it just dripped. It's just a very full bottle. It is a very pretty color. It is kind of a pain though to build this up. I found that this was pretty gloopy and it took quite a while to dry. I think I ended up needing 3 coats of this to get nice smooth color. And yeah, it took quite a while to dry. And when it wasn't looking perfect, so when it was just looking kind of okay after 2 coats, it looked remarkably like Kraft mac and cheese sauce. So I don't know if that's a positive or a negative to you, but it's something to note. We are in the top half now. Actually, I think that this purple was the midpoint. We're gonna see a lot of these insta dry, so just get used to that. Um, this is another in the shade Show Stealer. It is a light cream gray. I love this color. I've worn it quite a bit. This is one of my favorite shades to wear in the winter. Yeah, it's just a simple gray. I really like gray nail polish. I feel like it's still somewhat neutral. It still goes with pretty much everything, but it's a little bit more unexpected than like sort of a rosy shade or a true nude would be. I really like the formula of these little Wet n Wild Mega Last nail polishes. I got these in a kit around the holidays, probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and I've been really impressed with them. This is my highest ranking, sort of really light. I guess on some people this would be a nude. On me, it does pull fairly salmony orange. Uh, it's just a pretty polish. I don't know what else to say. These are surprisingly nice. If you happen to see one of these sets and you don't have much of a nail polish collection, they might be worth picking up. Now we've got another purple. This is the last of my Ulta polishes. This came in the same set as that pink, as well, all of the other ones you've seen. This is just the color I prefer most because it's purple and a little bit gray too. You know, I'm a simple woman. I see a purple polish that performs well and I rank it highly. Don't know what else to tell you. Here is my red polish. I'm very happy with this. Again, it's one of those little Wet n Wild Mega Lasts. This is such a pretty color. This is another one that I like to wear during the winter. This is, to me, very holiday glamour. And I really love it. I think it's so pretty. Yeah. This is taking position number 5. So we're very much on the home stretch, and everything beyond this, I'm probably just going to say, wow, it's so pretty. I love it. So there's something to look forward to. Now we have the last of my Wet n Wild Mega Lasts, and it's actually what I'm wearing right now. This is what puts that Sally Hansen polish lower down than it would be otherwise. I'm starting to run a little bit low on this. It's very sad. This is what makes this polish rank so low. I just prefer this sort of blue-based purple to a red-based purple. I feel like on my skin tone, it's a little bit more flattering. And I just think that this sort of, I want to call it Kool-Aid, but I don't think there's actually a color of Kool-Aid that's this shade. I just think this almost like cartoon grape purple is more fun than this more like muted Barney purple. Now this is probably my favorite sort of muted color. This is the shade Time is Money from the Sally Hansen Insta-Dry line. It is a really soft green. And it's just so pretty. It's an interesting shade. It's not a shade that I see super often. But again, it's sort of easy to wear. It goes with pretty much anything, especially for spring. And I just really think it's an attractive color. I wore this so much this summer, partially because it was one of like 3 nail polishes that I had this summer, but even then I was choosing this over everything else again and again and again. So happy with this. You know how I mentioned that I like gray nail polishes? Here is my darker gray polish. This is in the shade Grease Lightning, again from that Sally Hansen Insta-Dry line. This is just a bit darker version than the one I showed earlier. That's down here. Just a beautiful color. I think it's coming off almost black on camera, at least from what I can see in the viewfinder. However, this really does look just gray on the nails. It's not so dark that it skews black. And it's just so pretty. And this is a 1-coat polish, which is fantastic, especially in the Insta-Dry line, because they do actually dry pretty quickly. Are we ready for number 1? It is the Sally Hansen Insta-Dry, who's shocked, in the shade Sonic Bloom. And this is a very bright pink with a little bit of coral in it. Make sure we're not getting a gloopy swatch. This is such a fun color. It's a shade that I love wearing on my toes pretty much any time of year. I think it's such a fun, bright color for spring and summer. And I mean, it's just gorgeous. I love it so much. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you will consider liking and subscribing if you did. I hope to see you next time with my face in person, not just these disembodied hands. But until then, see ya.